I mean, listen, they're not going to lose this match, Joe. Evil and Sonata are not losing, so that means you have Evil and Sonata going 4-0 this tour, correct?
I do. I don't know what that says about me, but that's what I have.
It says you believe, you think very highly of Evil and Sonata just came off a very hard-fought loss to Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title, so I don't think it's a bad way to build him back up. So we're both going Evil and Sonata there. Next up, it was just announced the NWA were which one's Colt's title?
National.
Champion. Sorry, not the world's correct. The NWA National Champion Colt Cabana is going to be defending against James Storm in a Ring of Honor ring. That's a schmaz, man. That's a lot going on there. I just want to state this. I love the partnership between Ring of Honor and NWA. I think it's great for both companies. I think it's getting the NWA titles in the national spotlight, and I think it's getting good. You have better talent in Ring of Honor, so this should be great. I didn't think they were going to put the title on Colt Cabana in the first place, but I don't think James Storm would be a poor champion. So I'm going upset city here, and I think James Storm might take the title from Colt Cabana in his first title defense.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It really is, because like you said, I didn't expect Cabana to win the title off of Willie Mack, and now I'm wondering if that has something to do with Willie Mack signing a more extensive contract with Impact. I don't know if it does or it doesn't. That's just pure speculation on my part. I have no knowledge of that. So I was surprised Cabana got the win at the time. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, he's been a regular in the NWA on and off. That doesn't make sense. Regular and on and off doesn't make sense. He's been in the NWA in the past, and he's
been consistently showing up there.
He's been consistently, inconsistently working there. Yes. So I don't know. I think ultimately I agree with you. I think that they should put the title on Storm, get a little bit more notoriety for it. Obviously they could do whatever they want with Cabana, whether they want to have him continue to be involved in NWA matches or not. But I think having Storm come in and maybe win the title right away and do something with it would be the right thing to do. So I'm going to go with the Cowboy.
Well, I mean, the Cowboy always has a backup plan because he could just go to Monday Night Raw the same way his buddy Bobby Roode is.
Robert Roode. Sorry.
Yeah, I give up. Now, let's go with 2 matches left in this show. We'll go to the next match. Jeff Cobb versus Roosh versus Jay Lethal versus PCO. Huh.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough. Is this one for the title? It doesn't say that either.
I don't know.
Dude, come on, Ring of Honor.
I can check real quick, man, if you want.
It didn't say on the site if we're both looking at the same one. See, man, this is a woo. Joe, do they have Lethal? Let me ask you this. Do they have Lethal go for the TV title?
Well, I guess he could. I think he's the longest, right? Or if not one of the longest reigning TV champions in the history of the company. Is that right?
Yep.
So, here's the record holder for most combined days. As ROH World Champion. This is a 4-corner survival match. That's all it says. So it doesn't really say.
So survival means it's going to be an elimination match.
I don't know that either. There's a lot of things that are not clear about this. I don't know, dude. You know what? I'm going to go with Roosh. That's my answer. Roosh.
You know what? I'll duck it. I'm going with Roosh too. Taking Roosh all the way to the top. He's not going to lose. Now, there's one thing we do. Actually, so the main event of the show is the GOD versus the Briscoe brothers, correct?
Yes. Those tag titles are on the line in that match. I'm pretty confident in that.
What's that?
The tag titles are on the line in that match. I'm pretty confident, right?
What sets of tag titles? The Ring of Honor definitely. Are the IWGP tag titles on the line?
I don't know.
You know why we don't know? Because this is poor job by Ring of Honor. But I'll tell you this. The Briscoes have to get their win back. There is no better professional wrestling tag team in the ring, cutting promos, on the microphone in the ring, doing a 45-second Twitter video from their house than Jay and Mark, the Briscoe brothers. The Briscoe brothers need to beat the GOD May 12th in Chicago.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time that they win the titles back. I thought they'd win them back in Madison Square Garden. They swerved me and had the Guerrillas of Destiny win the titles. But I do think that the Briscoes should win this match. I like we just said, I don't know which titles are on the line. My assumption is that it's at least the Ring of Honor titles. Maybe it'll only be those. But I think that the Briscoes should win this match. So I'm going to go with Jay and Mark to win the titles back in Chicago on Sunday to close out the War of the Worlds tour.
I have a couple lists of things here. Actually, I should say I have a list of a couple of things. For me, I wrote down what has to happen during this tour. This is big for Ring of Honor. It's 4 nights, star-studded tour. What has to happen? For me, number 1, Matt Taven has to be booked well and beat PCO. True or false?
True. That's on my list as well.
Okay. 2, Jeff Cobb has to be booked like a beast and cannot be pinned. True or false?
He should not be pinned on this tour.
3, GOD has to drop the titles to the Briscoes.
They should drop the Ring of Honor titles to the Briscoes.
Yes. New challengers for the tag titles and the heavyweight title have to emerge from this tour.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one of the things I was going to say, which goes along with the new contender for the world title, is I think that one of the guys has to come out of this as a legitimate title contender. Now, it sounds like from at least the way that we've been talking about it, that it's somebody like Roosh, who's going to keep winning a lot of matches, hopefully. So he might be a guy in that scenario. But definitely they have to come up with somebody to be a legitimate challenger to either to the world title and or television titles coming out of this tour. Like you mentioned earlier, Marty Scurll is not on many of these cards. As of now, even Taven's only on like maybe 2 of the cards. There's some other guys that they just need to be booked strong and put into positions to challenge for titles. We've seen a lot of the same guys over the last year. It's been a lot of Jay Lethal. It's been a lot of Matt Taven. It's been a lot of Marty Scurll. It's been a lot of Dalton Castle. So it'd be good to get somebody fresh in the mix for the world title picture and the TV title picture.
So your guess is Roosh.
The answer to all questions tonight
has been Roosh.
Yeah.
Okay. What 3 matches are you most excited for?
Oh boy, that's
I have the entire card for it. You want me to go first?
I got it. I'll go real quick. I think I am excited for the Briscoes versus Haskins and Tracy Williams. I think that's going to be excellent. I am excited for the 4-way that we just talked about on Sunday in Chicago. Cobb versus Roosh versus Lethal versus PCO. And I guess the other one that stands out to me really is probably the GOD and the Briscoes on the last day. I mean, there's a lot of other good matches on these cards, but if I had to pick 3, those are the ones that I would pick. Guerrillas of Destiny versus Lethal and Gresham, I'm sure will also be good, but I'll stick with those 3.
You want to bogart some of mine? I mean, that was 4. I have listed 3.
I'm sorry.
For me, number 1 is GOD versus the Briscoes. Number 2 is Briscoes versus Hot Sauce and Haskins. Number 3, the potential behind Flip and Bandito, I think, should be a very good match too. Again, Bandito's only booked for, I believe, one day, right? Yeah, Flip versus Bandito for 1 day. He could be another guy that comes out of this tour if they do throw him in some of these matches as a strong contender for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title or the World TV or the TV title, either way. But I think there's a lot of pressure for them to make some people look very, very good so you could buy them as legitimate contenders for these titles going forward. You have the next pay-per-view June 20-something. I forget. Whatever it might be. It's mid to late June. So you have a month, right? But that's, 2 TV tapings for Ring of Honor, maybe?
Maybe.
You have these 4 shows, and then you have 1, maybe, possibly 2 sets of TV tapings. You need somebody to be a viable challenger for all of your titles, and it can't be guys from New Japan. You can't keep relying on them. So now you don't have the crutch of New Japan from Madison Square Garden. Now you're going to have to put together a card in about a month and a half, a little under, with the guys you have. You have your Rooshes, you have, your Lethal, your Gresham. It's it's a big 4 days, man. I don't want to make it look I'm blowing out of proportion, but I think it's, something needs to happen very promising for Ring of Honor, because with this AEW hype, man, we have AEW is going to be 3 weeks from now, right? So people, Ring of Honor doesn't want you forgetting about them. AEW it's a shiny new toy, so they have to do something in the next couple of days, and I hope they do, because I love watching Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I mean, they have the War of the Worlds tour has always been, or the last 5 or 6 years has been a big tour for them. And they're, no disrespect to Buffalo and Grand Rapids, which are good cities as well, but Toronto and Chicago were pretty significant, I think, cities from a wrestling show perspective for any company to go to. Usually you get very good crowds, very active crowds there. So I would expect, good shows, especially on those two, but hopefully for the entire tour. And like you said, come out of it with some, maybe some buzz, some momentum, and hopefully some things set up for Best in the World in June. I
would be all in just thinking about it. Oh, nice. I would double down on Sienna versus Kelly Klein, or AK versus Kelly Klein at the next pay-per-view, by the way. Just thinking out loud with this partnership with the NWA. Be a big fan of that match.
Tweet it out, man. Tweet it out from our Twitter. What, where can people find us on the Twitter and the social medias?
X-Hamster. You can find us where you find us every single week, man. And if you were watching or you're a fan of Beyond Wrestling, you should have followed us on Twitter on Sunday, because I was live tweeting, get a lot of interactions with the old fanskis, at All Night Long WP. And I'll tell you this, speaking of tweeting along, we have 2 Evolve shows coming up this weekend, which we'll touch on our social media throughout the week. Really, really big shows. Cassius Ono is going to be on there. Adam Cole's going to be on the show. And we're going to be watching. So if you want, follow us at All Night Long WP on your Twitter, on your Instagram. Search us on Facebook, All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. And go to youtube.com/All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, because we finally are verified. Feels good, man. We just need that blue check mark, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure we're only about 20 years away from that, so it's fine.
The negativity's got to stop, Joe. We're a bunch of positive people here in the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Speaking of positive people, look at Joe. Look at that. Look at that face. Don't forget, if you want Chew as blue as Joe's headphones, you go to BlueChew.com. Use your promo code WPP. You pay $5 shipping and handling. You get your first order of Blue Chew on the house. Tell them the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast sent you. You don't have to go to your doctor anymore, baby. You want to put a little, stuff in your stocking, you go to BlueChew.com, promo code WPP, $5 shipping and handling from us, the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Another week is in the books. He's your host. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer, and we're tapping out.
I woke up along the city streets you used to walk along with me, and every step I take reminds me of just how we used to be. Well, how can I forget you, girl?